What's up, Flomies?
What's
You know
going
what
on,
time it is.
Flomies?
Another
And welcome to another
of Into the
episode
Flow.
on our podcast here, Into the Flow. And today I have the privilege of interviewing Mr. Doug.
Wow.
How's it going? We need the little hand clapper gesture.
Wow.
All that stuff.
I'm already all glowing, man.
I know, right? I mean, we can see the glow at the minute that Mr. Doug is all happy on it. But hey,
Oh,
Doug, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know you're a busy man, and you dedicate at least an hour to us to get a little bit of more information on Doug. For those of us that in the group or other groups or in the YouTube pages that don't know Mr. Doug App, so today we have the privilege of sitting here and asking Mr. Doug some random questions and getting to learn a little bit about him. So we can
awesome. Privilege. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
The honor is all mine.
Beautiful. Glad you feel that way. And let's just go back, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And we want to know how Doug got into this industry. Who were you before you started getting into all this window cleaning?
Well, I was an aerospace engineer for a company called W.L. Gore in Phoenix, Arizona for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Decided I want to be an entrepreneur. So I got into Sonic drive-ins, right? I bought one and moved back to Topeka, Kansas. Started running that one. Got it up and running, very, very profitable. Sold it, decided to buy these three out here in St. Louis, Missouri. And had to get a partner because I didn't have all that money, right? I didn't have $4 million to my name, so there's no way. I had to bring in a silent money guy.
You had like $2 million, that's four?
Yeah. So we bought all three of them. I was the working partner, of course. He had the money. So I got all three of those up and running, probably working about 110 hours a week. And at that time, I had three little ones that needed a little more attention. And my wife kept telling me, you need more attention.
Right.
So after 3 years, we sold out of Sonic, completely got out of it. And then I was kind of bouncing around doing some handyman stuff, because you own your house, you get kind of handy.
Yeah.
Wasn't doing it really for anybody else. I was doing it for me, rebuilding the porch and deck and stuff like that. As you spend more time with your spouse and you're not working, and she didn't have to work because you take care of the kids, which is still work, I can't say that isn't work.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's very true.
Yeah, she got tired of seeing my face every day, all day, in and out. So.
That's the very common problem for the entrepreneurs.
Right. So I decided just to throw my resume out on Monster. So I got a call from a gentleman by the name of Mike Merrick. And for all of you that don't know him in the window cleaning world, he's an icon. He is the #1 man that owns Fish Window Cleaning.
Fish window cleaning.
So he called me up and he started talking to me on the phone. And I said, well, did you even look at my resume? He goes, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm an aerospace engineer. I don't know nothing about cleaning a window. And he says, yeah, but you got franchise experience. And why don't you come in for an interview? And I'm like, I thought it was a joke. I really did. I thought it was one of my friends pulling my leg. So I'm like, dude, I don't know who this is, but no, I'm not interested. Thank you. Yeah. So another week went by, another phone call. They called up again. I said, all right, I'll come check it out. So I went in there and just kind of fell in love with it, fairly simple idea that wasn't complex, and they needed the franchise experience, which I already had because I had Sonics,
right?
For about 7 years. So I got into that and became regional manager within about 3 years, and did that for 10 years. In the meantime, I kind of picked up my own gig of window cleaning and soft washing.
All right.
So I was into soft washing prior to getting into the window cleaning gig. Soft washing was simple,
right?
But back then we were just slinging bleach.
Yeah.
But surfactant wasn't surfactant.
Right.
There wasn't a surfactant. It was a soap.
It was just,
I didn't kill myself making chlorine clouds or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so I kind of ran that on the side, and I worked for them during the day, and got out of that. After 10 years, I traveled. Gosh, I was traveling like every other week because when I was with them, they only had 100 franchises, and when I left, they had 225.
Wow.
And I was doing a lot of the grand openings, going up and helping them, training them on water-fed pole, training them on window cleaning techniques. And if they wanted to get into pressure washing, I had that knowledge as well. It was so in-depth that I actually got my high-rise certification from the IWCA because we had a couple franchises
Right.
by the name of the Pierces, which you probably know,
Yeah.
TPS Properties.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to talk to them intelligently about high-rise. And the only way I could do that was get involved in the high-rise scene. Not that I wanted to do that, because that first time you go that edge of the building, you better have on some dark pants, man.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be groomed a lot by a gentleman by the name of Mike Draper. He was, we've been buddies for like 15 years. When I came into Fish and I took over all the equipment for them, and I'm an innovative guy, I'm an engineer, so I know what's really good out there. And I kept switching up the kit.
Right.
I kept talking to Mike, what's the best? He goes, this is the best. Boom. Next franchisee come in, they get not a totally different kit, but better equipment like water systems and water-fed pools.
Upgraded.
Hey, come on, we know a squeegee's a squeegee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mop's a mop, and
right.
you can only get those so.
Yeah, you can dress them up nicely, but it's still gonna do the same work.
There's no magic to it,
Yeah.
But the water-fed pools have come a long ways in 15 years.
They have.
I mean, we had the Unger screw together. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah. The black one with the.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
We had those. Before those, we had the Tucker, the 22.5-pound pole at 45 feet.
The fiberglass.
When you water-fed pole back then, you knew what water-fed pulling was.
I started with those. With those.
When I first started doing it, I went out because I started with Fish. I wanted to run the office. I wanted to run the crew, because I've had all that experience with blue collar, and I wanted to do that and learn all the processes. So we went on a job to water-fed pole a 4-story building. That's the water-fed pole we had. And after the second day, man, I was shocked. I mean, literally, I'm bending over to brush my teeth because I can't lift my arm up with a daggum toothbrush.
You're pretty much taking yourself to the toothbrush and doing.
It was brutal. But now we got poles that are that tall that weigh 5.5 pounds.
Yeah,
it's like what?
Yeah.
And now people still complain about water-fed poling.
Yeah.
Oh,
they have no idea. They honestly, they do not have no idea when it comes to water. And I tell my guys. Before, a couple years back, I picked up a pole from J Racenstein here on Chico Street in Carson. And that's the first time I think I actually got to meet you guys. I met Jenny there, and I was looking for a water-fed pole system. I didn't have no RODI system yet. I was just using those big, large tanks. And I go to one of your open houses one day, and some of the poles that you guys were using out in the field, you had them at a discounted rate. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it was an old Tucker water-fed pole. It was a silver aluminum pole with some clamps on it that you twist on, sort of like the Unger one, but this one was silver. And that was maybe like a 30-foot pole, and that thing was quite heavy. So I'm out there switching arms left and right. And I never thought it was like, because I didn't know water-fed poles. I'm like, no, it's not a heavy pole. I mean, okay, I guess my shoulders are not in shape. I need to work them out, right? So I'm working. Then I hired my first-time guy about 6 years ago, and he worked for me for almost a year doing that using that same water-fed pole. And then one day he just, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go find some other work and this and that. Something. So okay, I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, hey, well, you know what? I appreciate your, the time that you invested in me, and thank you. And if you ever need to come back to work for us, then let me know. So then I upgraded poles about 2 years after that, and that's when I switched over to Gardner. And I guess he found out through the grapevine, and he calls me like, hey man, are you hiring? I said, yeah, I am. Come on. So by that time I already had 2 guys on deck, and I brought the third one in, and he comes back and he's using these poles. They're like, dude, these poles are freaking light. He said like, yeah, not compared to the last one, huh? The last one is the one that made you quit. And he just looks at me like, no, that was, I said, don't lie. I said, it was probably that pole but yeah, today's poles, the poles back then, it's a big difference. And people don't understand that. When you're pushing that pole all day long, what you want is, that weight ratio, But,
and they don't, everybody wants this super, super ultimately stiff pole. And I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
And we have one. If you took all your number 10 sections and put them together,
Yep.
you would literally have the stiffest pole possible.
Yep.
But the whole thing at 40 feet, you're working the pole.
Yeah.
Okay, so you really want that flex in the pole because that way the energy of that weight goes to the window. If you didn't have flex, you got to really scrub that window. But
You
with
gotta
that little
push
flex
down
you
on it,
have,
right?
you've got to have that little bow in it. It
Yeah.
makes so much sense from an engineering standpoint than it does to have, because everybody wants that perfectly straight pole, and I'm like, no, you don't.
No,
You don't.
yeah.
You know, unless you're
For
up at
one,
70 feet or something, then
yeah.
even the number 10s will curve a little bit, which is
Yeah.
fine, because you want that energy accelerated to the glass. So basically, all you're doing is walking it up and down, and you're not
Yep.
scrubbing the windows. The
Yeah.
weight is on the window.
I-
Big difference.
no, I agree on that too. And we separate our poles. You know, we do have some stiff poles there, but we separate them. You know, for the work that we're going to be doing. Whether if it's a 2-3 story residential, we'll use our gardeners. That flex is not going to bother me at all. If I'm doing anything over 4 stories, you definitely don't think I'm going to be using a stiff pole because the weight ratio on that. By the time if I got a whole building to do a 5 stories, there's no way I'm going to get it done. I said, my arms are going to be shot, going to have jello arms and all that. So there is a difference between it. And that's something that I'm working on now that I got 2 extra poles, changing, you know, what poles are designed to do what type of task, just to eliminate the fatigue on my guys. Because if they grab that pole and they go out and they want to use this thing all day long, they're going to get fatigued and they don't even know it. So I got to explain this process to them and let them know. So, but yeah,
and there's new poles coming out every day. It's just the longevity of them. You know, I'm a big Gardner fan, always have been. That's what my son owns. I'll go out and help him, you know, occasionally, and he's got 2 different poles. So I'm pleased. It pleases punch with him. And I've seen him fall. I've dropped him. I've trained up to 90 feet. So I've used these quite a bit. Yeah. And I just I like how the sturdiness of the pole, how really strong they are, and the durability. I mean, they don't crack, they don't break unless you drop them. And they have to cantilever. What means they have to hit something and snap like this,
right? And
then it'll snap a section. It's not going to just break if you drop it.
Yeah.
You know, poles have come a long ways.
They have. My first, I've owned my very first original Gardner. I think I'm going, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 9 years.
Yeah.
And the first accident it had, we had it laying down on the ground. We were doing a commercial storage place that had 4-story high windows. And there's a big company out here in LA, and we used to service most of their stores here in Southern California. And my guy had to bring the pole down to go grab something because I tell him, don't ever leave that pole standing up. No matter if a wind comes by and it pushes that thing over, that thing is going to fall over and it's going to break. So he did the right thing. He set it along the bottom storage containers or storage doors, and he put cones. But here comes this idiot, you know, pulls up next to it, and then he's trying to get as close as he can to the door, not paying attention to my cones, and he nips the back end of my number 10 and number 9 section. So he just runs it over. He cracked it a little bit, but, you know, so we caught up to the guy. I told him, hey, dude, look. So he ended up paying for those parts, replacement parts, and ever since, and we just recently got a brand new Gardner Extreme. You know,
I saw it ship out. So, yeah. Well, you know, the thing, I mean, I just don't want to talk about just equipment, but, you know, from an engineering standpoint, Steve Blythe and I do an awful lot of testing. We've done all weight controls on every pole. We don't publish it. We want to know for us, when people talk to us and then you say, hey, what do you think's the best pole? I'll give you my opinion. But if you call me up and say, hey, I want a Tucker pole, I'm going to say a Tucker pole.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a different brand pole, I'll get it for you.
Right.
You know, but if you ask me what I think, I can go to my customers and firmly say, this pole right here is what my customers seem to really like.
Right.
There is another 47-foot pole out there that you can foot, and I mean lay it down and pick it up and without it snapping. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen anybody. I've done it at 2 of the conventions I've been at, and nobody else will do that. So I'm going, hey, there's a challenge for you.
Yeah.
You know,
and I got a video on that too. I kicked one up.
You actually did do a video on it.
6-7 stories, and I've been doing that for a while. And I never thought about it. I'm like, I wonder if this should be a challenge. And I ended up posting it up there, like, hey, I challenge you to grab your pole and do this to your pole. If
Yeah.
you can do that to your pole, then I'll try it out.
Haven't got any response from anybody, have you?
Nope. All they do is just hit that little like button. But you know what? That's cool though. But yeah, same here. You know, we when it comes to tools, we like to try out different type of tools. Like, hey, you know what? Yeah, sometimes we need that aggressive rigidness, but you know, at the same time, the weight issue is going to be a little concern for us, just because we deal with heights. But every year is changing. So you know,
It
unless
is.
something comes out and it tops off the Gardner, then hey, I'll be more than happy to give it a try. But so far, we're there. We're still there. I'm still Gardner, and I seen that they started coming out with the CLX 10s now. Oh man,
Yeah.
I love that. So
Now,
I just recently upgraded all my guys' Iterate poles.
now
And
the SLX is a 3G pull with carbon. It is starts at 27 foot, and you can build it all the way up to 60 feet and make it 100% collapsible.
oh,
3K, it's going to be something. It's serious.
right.
It's
So
a
yeah,
27 feet. It's like
I'm gonna have to
stick.
I'm gonna be upgrading my 30-foot pole too sometime. One of my guys snapped the number 4 section, so we're waiting on that from Jenny.
Yeah.
But I told her that you know, probably I'll have to upgrade and switch them out. We'll go from there. But
Yeah, we've got new adapters coming in for all the gardeners that you can switch them over to trad poles and put on any connector on the end of anything you want.
all right, beautiful.
Whether you're an Iterate guy or a Sorbo guy or an Unger guy, you can put your tip on there.
Yeah.
So
Use it as a
we can
track
find
pole.
it's universal, right?
Right. All right.
Because
Well,
Unger doesn't fit Iterate and Iterate doesn't fit Unger, so it's whatever you guys like to snap on there. You know?
right. So I know you hold now that we know a little bit of your past, I know you hold a lot of titles with J Racenstein. How did you become part of J Racenstein? You know, when did you join them, and what did you start off doing with J Racenstein?
It was I've known Steve Blythe for going back to my fish days for probably like 15 years. And then when I got out of fish, Steve would not hire me because fish was a big customer for J Racenstein. And I don't know if you've seen the movie, he wanted 3 degrees of separation.
Oh.
So me being, you know, I was pretty handy. So I went out to work for another franchise. It's called Coverall. And what Coverall does internal cleanings. So whether it's a disinfecting or cleaning windows or vacuuming, dumping trash cans, I used to go out and bid buildings to give them a bid on how often we'd come by every night, and this is how much you were going to pay per square footage for us to come in and keep your building sanitary and clean.
Right.
So it was another thing that was kind of neat to add to your portfolio because it kind of fell in line with everything we were doing. Because at one time I thought, I'm going to go into that, then I'm going to get all the windows, and I'm going to get all the soft washing. So I didn't need 5,000 accounts. I only needed like 50.
Right.
We're only servicing 50. So after about 2.5 years of doing that, Mike Draper called me up. We were talking, and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, sorry. After Coverall, I went to work for a company, a window cleaning franchise called Man Kilts.
Oh, I heard it.
So that lasted 3 months. It just wasn't for me.
Was it the kilt that you couldn't wear, or what was it?
Man, I got some gorgeous legs, but yeah, I still have the kilt, but no, you won't see me wearing it anyway. Not happening.
We're gonna have to create a challenge, and we're gonna have to challenge you to wear that kilt one day.
Well, in Canada, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
Right, because it's part of their heritage and so on and so forth. Here in the United States, it's really tough. You know how tough it is to get employees. And now once you got your employees, you say, "Here, wear this."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What?"
I'll hold her ladder. I'll take care of her. Don't worry. I'll spot her. I will take very good care of her.
It was a neat concept. They do okay, but it wasn't for me.
Right.
So after that, I called up a few places, Racenstein and Mr. Sean Gavin. So it came down between those two, and Mike said, "Hey, come on board. I'll train you. We'll get up and doing. You'll take over the university classes." So he hired me, and of course, like I said, he'd been mentoring me for about 10 years by then. So I knew just about. Well, I thought I knew a lot, right? I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know crap when I came into the window cleaning world because it's not about the equipment. It's all about your personal preference. I
Right.
could be Ungerman.
Yeah.
You could be a
True.
Sorbo guy, and I'm
Yep.
sitting here trying to sell you Unger, and
Yep.
you're like, no, I only want Sorbo. I'm like,
Yep.
no, you want this. And
It
so
all
I
comes
had to
down to what
curb.
feels good in the hand.
I had to curb my opinions to what you prefer.
Right.
And if that's what you wanted, by God, that's what I was going to provide for you,
Hmm.
with the best customer service. But that took a minute because when I came in, I knew all the equipment I liked, right? And thinking I can convert you over to liking what I like, and it's
Right.
impossible.
Yeah, it is. It's
So
very
once I
important.
understood that, it all switched around,
Yeah.
and I think I'm a pretty friendly guy. I don't go to conventions to sell equipment. I'm
Yep.
not one of those guys at the convention that wants to sell everything. I don't care.
I think is your cool friendliness that attracts people, the customer support and then your knowledge and all that. And then you have, staff that can back you up when it comes to quality of tools. If they're looking for a specific, hey, I need a weight ratio and price is
Yep.
not an issue, but the quality, talk to this guy. He's going to tell you, what he spends on his poles and what does he like them. Or talk to this other guy who uses his other pole, and you can vice versa and decide. And at the end of the day, it's still the customer's decision to say,
It
all
is.
right, I want to go
all I
the
can do is all I can do is educate you, and it's up to you to pull the trigger. I mean, that's really all I'm here for is educating. Uh, I tell you, I'm a terrible salesperson.
right.
That's not what I was put on earth to do. It just
Exactly.
happens to work for me, because I love people. I love going out to dinner and having a few drinks with the guys and the
Yeah.
gals. And it's nothing about business. It's just
Yep.
all about who you are and how's the family and
Getting
stuff
to
like that. I mean,
socialize. Yeah.
yeah, there's
Catch up.
nothing, not fake at all.
No, it's always fun
You
hanging
know,
out there, man. I look forward to the conventions, man. I think that's the number one thing that, people enjoy when we meet up around the world. I've met, I've been a lot more active these past 3 years with IWCA, and I've been there every single one, and every single one grows and grows, and you meet more people, and you start getting familiar with online people you interact with, and then you
right?
meet a person, and you start talking, and man, it just becomes a big house party, and like, hey, we're all here, dude. Like, let's enjoy these moments.
And before you know it, you built this relationship, and you're on opposite coasts, and now you're talking back and forth.
Yep, exactly.
It's really, really. I would say window cleaners have got to be the most tightest niche professionals in any industry I've ever been involved with.
Yeah,
I mean,
very.
they are so close. There's no backstabbing. Everybody, kumbaya, and
Yeah.
it's just a good time. I mean, it's just
We that
great
that's
people.
that's one of my things. The window cleaners that I talk to out here in my area in LA, they do reach out, and one thing, when I tell them, like, hey, look, when you're requesting to do bids, when you're requesting to do this, I'm not gonna share exactly what I charge, because then you're gonna either undersell me or underbid me or things like that. But I'm gonna keep you at a level where you're going to compete. I said, if you're fully insured and you're carrying everything that you're supposed to run a professional window cleaning company, do not go under this number, because if you do, then you are underselling yourself and you're never going to grow. So they capped that, and next thing you know, I think there's two of them now that they did pretty well on a nice size project, and I'm happy for them. Like, hey, don't think I'm going to be the guy. Oh, I got this here. Let me send you the address. Let me show you what the building looks like. Can you help me out a little bit? Yeah, I'll teach you how to bid. I'll teach you what you need to do. As long as you have the training behind you, as long as you have the knowledge and you have the actual uh, hourly training on jobs where you know how to do this work. Because if you don't know anything about it, you know what? Sub this out. Hang on with this person, while he's on your job. Have him teach you the ropes. Then on the next service, you can feel more confident to get in there and charge the same rate. But that it comes down to being competitive, because if you're not being competitive on pricing, you're not going to grow. And you can see when a small company is growing by the way they're upgrading, by the way they're increasing their staff and all that. So it's
A
just a
lot
matter
of
of
people undervalue themselves.
you do.
I do a lot of educating. We teach. That's one of my big favorite things to do. We teach J Racing University, whether it's in California or New Jersey. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I'm lucky to be able to know East Coast and West Coast cleaners, so I can come up with a national average on pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can just tell you, I don't know what your market bears, but this is the kind of to get you started. If they continue to say yes, you might want to raise your price.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Exactly.
tell them, it used to be back when I was cleaning, you had to make about $80 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're not making $150 an hour, you need to really rethink
Yep.
where you're at, because you're not covering your expenses.
Nope.
And everybody, when they get into this industry, like, man, I was making $18 over there at Chicken Cluck, and now I'm cleaning windows. If I get $20 an hour, I'm happy. No, that's not who we are or what we are.
Right. Exactly.
So getting them to understand their value is something, it's a little different.
Yeah,
But when they
is.
start paying their insurance, they start understanding what their value is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the topics that we recently talked in our group regarding, getting to know your numbers, because people can go out there and, oh yeah, I'm going to charge $400 for this job. But at the end of the day, how much profit did you make for yourself? Because you got job expenses, you got business expenses, and then you have your employee expenses.
Right.
Now, whatever's left over, that's where the profit is at. Well, what was that profit margin to that? And that's when I think on the last episode we talked a little bit about that, but we help them understand. And in this group, we try to keep that professionalism, where, like, if you go to another group and you ask a question, you're gonna have to fight through like a herd of negative answers and comments and this and that. Here, we avoid all that stuff because we don't want to make that group this group. We want to keep it. Hey, give this guy an honest answer. Whether he's going to exercise and use it or not, we'll find out later, right? But we're here to teach, and we're here to increase. Safety is another thing, and I know you're a good safety instructor for J Racenstein. And every time you guys come out to California, I like to promote it out there and tell these guys, like, hey, even if you're an experienced window cleaner that's been in the business for so long, go to this class. It doesn't hurt to go and get a little. What if something changed, or what if there's new tools out there for you to learn about? Just go out there and get to meet other window cleaners in your area too.
It's important. Everybody used to be, back in the day, that nobody really wanted to know who the window cleaners are.
No.
Now I'm suggesting that I need to know everybody.
Wow.
So I want to know everybody that's in the business that was around me. If I could take him to lunch, we'd go to dinner, whatever it was, just to, how you doing? Maybe we could team up on a project, because, one of my biggest projects was only like $5,000, and people laugh at that. Now only $5,000, because I've cleaned downtown New York, right? And I'm going, this building alone is, $15,000 or something like that. And you're like, oh yeah, that's what it is now.
Yeah.
St. Louis wasn't like, of course, I didn't do high rise back then.
Yeah.
So.
And I haven't gotten into much into high rise out here in LA, just because of the competition that's sitting in there. The big companies out there, they already kind of not own, but they dominate that area. So yeah, we still go in there. We put in our bids. I'm not afraid of a bigger company. I know we have the staff and the equipment and the certification that's sitting right on my wall. One day I got to flip my camera on and show all these certificates of knowledge and all that stuff. But
you better get a bigger wall.
Or that, right? I'm gonna have to tap in. I'm gonna have to tap into my neighbor's wall. Hey, dude, I need to borrow your wall space right here. Can you hang these up for me? But no, that's pretty cool. So another thing, with this COVID-19, how have you pivoted? I know you're with the training and all that with sales and with J Racenstein.
Boy,
how has it affected you guys?
It really, we've been fortunate that we have one hell of a leader, Steve Blythe. Very blessed on this due to the fact that he saw this coming.
Yeah.
So we had a chance to pivot our company as well. So we carry the masks, the gloves, the suits, the face shields, the EPA disinfectant, the electrostatic sprayers, the ion sprayers. We're carrying everything to help people in our industry pivot themselves to stay in business.
Right.
Right. And I thought, well, because my son, we switched over and I made him pivot. He says, what do you mean? So I'm taking your truck down and getting it redone. So I got a hold of Mr. Tim Fields. He sent me some new signage, and we put on the side of his truck, sanitization experts.
Right.
Not disinfecting.
No.
We weren't sterilizing. We were just sanitizing. And it kept his business alive through all this. He's 21 years old.
Wow.
He didn't have a pot to piss in, excuse me, but you know, he doesn't live with me. He lives on his own with his girlfriend in his house, and you know, he sings the blues and comes by. And I'm like, hey, let's go do McDonald's for free. What? We're gonna go do McDonald's for free. Before you know it, we're doing 7 lobbies in McDonald's and disinfecting them.
Wow.
You know, it's all about going in and knocking down
Yeah.
doors. You can't do it all on email.
No.
You know, if you want a customer, go out and get them.
You got to go out
It
and
still
hustle.
works.
Yep.
You put leather to the street, and you will become successful.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
you can only do so much through social media, but by doing one for free, the guy owns 7. Okay, now he's doing 7 lobbies. Not we weren't doing the back of the house because that's um, a different degree. But he was food safe certified anyway. He could have done it, but I suggested that we don't do it. You
Uh,
just do the front of the house and start spraying your clean and shine. We're going to kill the corona. Let's get the windows done. You know what? We're going to soft wash the outside. We're going to kill the corona on the outside.
yeah.
So it became, you know, you only do McDonald's once, but then
Right.
the sanitization, they loved it, right? And then we
Yeah.
turned them onto the chemicals, so you know they
That
could
becomes a
continue.
daily thing too, don't it?
Yeah. Well, they would lock down all the lobbies, but the health of the employees, because they're going in and out and in and out and in and out, sitting in the lobby, eating their lunch, going back to work, that area still had to be, you know, they wanted sterilized, and we could do the bathrooms as well. Not clean the toilets, but sanitize everything. You know,
Get
spray everything down and walk away. That was it. That's all we did. And we used a Pro Tool spray gun. We didn't have fogger or electrostatic sprayer.
Right.
We had the little Pro Tool squirt gun, electric squirt gun.
Yeah.
Put a number 3 tip in it with a 15-degree, and it put out a nice mist, and you could just coat everything.
Wow.
Didn't even wipe it down.
Gotta improvise, you know. I mean, if you have the tools there already, why not improvise it and put them to work and make them do what they're supposed to do?
I think we phrased the pivot thing. I think we were the first ones to talk about pivoting your business and how we were there to help everybody out. It's not about the pricing, because I've seen the electrostatic sprayers we sell. I think they're like $365. You can go to Amazon and buy the exact same one for $980. The identical one. Wow. So we're not gouging anybody. We keep our margin exactly the same across the board on everything.
Right.
Could we have done it? Absolutely. Would we have done it? Never. It didn't even cross the minds of yeah, it's a good time to dig in their wallet and get in their pot. No, it wasn't.
No.
You know, it was helping people out. I mean, we carried people for a couple, 3 months on just notes that they didn't have the business to pay off, you know, their window cleaning. We weren't calling them every day.
Yeah.
We understood, you know, they'll pay us when they can.
Right.
You know, we are more about building relationships, you know, getting to know our customers, and that's what's key. So we can help them out. You know, we wanted to help the industry get into something that they weren't familiar with. We have all the education. We always kept updated on COVID, everything. We have our own, if you go to our website, you see it. We have our own COVID page. Everything you want to know about COVID, how to kill it, how to disinfect, everything is on there. So, you know, we're in it for the long haul.
You know, one cool thing that would be, I know J Racenstein offers through a third party financing equipment, but if you ever pay attention to the financing that these third parties companies offer, oh my God, that thing is like unbelievable. Like, you know, and that deters, even though it's a good helpful hand for small business owners to get their hands on tools, but they're going to be paying a higher margin in taxes and fees and all this stuff where we're in-house. J Racenstein, I'm not sure if they can cover it or not, but if they offer like a 12-month repayment plan, maybe even 24 for X amount of dollars, like, hey, anything over $10,000, we'll finance you for 24 months at this rate, or we'll cut those $10,000 or $15,000 down to 24 monthly payments, but we just need a secure credit card where we can lock them in and go from there. Because I experienced one, I had the money to buy it, but because I didn't want to tie up all of my savings into that one big purchase, I say, you know what, let me finance this thing. And I think I'm barely about to finish paying it off. But then when I started paying attention to my fees, I was like, holy man, I spent, even though it helped me, you know, I made the money back and everything, but if I could have saved all that extra money on fees and having to rely on these other, and then another thing that they make you get extra insurance out for that equipment.
Right.
You know, I wasn't even aware of that. When my bill came in 30 days later, hey, you need to get insurance on this, or you have to pay an extra $25 a month. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, okay, well, there goes another $25. But that'll be a very something, you know, to discuss with Blythe, you know, because there's a lot of small business owners.
It's been knocked around. It's been knocked around, and it's depending on who you are and how long we've been doing business together.
Good business, yeah.
And there's always a back door to everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's just good to throw it out there, you know, so people that view this video out there, they know that, you know, because we try to create questions and make conversations. So, you know, depending on our audience and the viewers that see this, they'll be like, oh, you know what, that's a really good point. I'm a small business owner, you know, I got 2 guys working with me, but I don't have that much capital to upgrade to this. I would love to be like this guy who has his truck built this way. I want all that stuff, but
right.
I don't have the capital to do that or things.
You don't understand how many people I actually got to talk down on sales. And you're like, what? Because I'm not in it for one sale. I'm in it for the long haul. If you're my customer once, I want you for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So I've had people come up wanting to start their business. This is what I want. This is what I want. I'm like, whoa, stop. You don't have any jobs. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's start with this. Before we build 2 trucks, so let's build 1 truck.
1 truck, right? Yeah, you don't want to go overboard.
I want 2 water machines. I want 2 pressure washers. I want all these hoses, and I'm like, you don't.
You don't.
And people look at me like, why wouldn't you take that sale? Because he's going to be out of business in a year.
Yeah.
If I can keep him in business, and he trusts me, he's going to come back. And go, man, look, you saved my butt. Thank you.
That's true.
But now I'm geared up. Let's add another truck to the road. I'm game for that.
Yeah.
I just don't want people to dump all their money into one thing and not really have it down pat yet.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true, because when I started, I used to own an 85 Chevrolet Camaro hatchback. Mm-hmm. And when I bought my first, and I still have my aluminum section ladders from Alico, the very lightest aluminum, not the heavy set that they have now, but the lightest. I still have that sitting on top of my van, and they still operate. I mean, I treasure those.
Hang on to it, because they're out of business.
They're out. Yeah, they're out. And now you can only find the heavy replace. So I'm always fearing that one of them breaks. I'm like, great.
Heavy, look at you. They weigh 7 pounds a piece for a 6-foot stack.
Yep, exactly. So I'm like, I don't have to worry about that. But when I started, it was back in my Camaro days. I used to load my ladders up to the back of my truck, my Camaro. I used to put up my bucket, my squeegees, and my towels, and off to my job site. I had to park like half a block away because my Camaro was so damn loud, you know. But that's how I started, you know, like, hey, I'm going to start slowly making money, start saving money. And then I think about 2 years down the road, I made my first purchase, and I bought myself the 04 Tundra that I used to have, a gold one.
Nice.
Then I, you know, started putting equipment into that. I bought pressure washers, and then I started buying additional accessories. And then I did that.
Broadening your business space.
I used that truck for instance, I bought it in 2007, and I got rid of it barely, what are we, I think the end of early 2019. I got rid of it early 2019, and I put it to rest. I sent it off to Mexico, gave it to my dad. I said, here, this is your truck. It was still in good running condition. It works great, but I expanded. Then I got myself this big ass F450, and then I got the Transit 250, and I bought those all in one. You know, in May I bought the F450. 2 months later, when the other one arrived, I said, hey, I'm gonna pick up a Transit 2. It's all in the budget. I've been busting my ass for 9-10 years. I've got money saved up. Let's do this upgrade now. And then
that's the deal of expanding your horizon. It's like, I'll talk to pressure washer. They go, what should I be adding? I said, you should be adding window cleaning. Because that's what I learned. That was my first thing, window cleaning. That's my passion.
Right.
I love soft washing, don't get me wrong, but window cleaning to me, because to me it's just mindless, senseless work that I can do all day long and not have to worry about anything else. Just get it done, move forward. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of thought process to cleaning concrete. There's a whole lot of thought process to soft washing on things you wouldn't think about. Sockets not taped up, burning a house down. I've seen all kinds of stuff on YouTube. I don't even watch YouTube anymore.
Right.
I'm getting ready to get completely off Facebook if I can, but which is impossible. But
Yeah.
um, all these other things, but window cleaning, man, there's nothing to worry about. No, can't scratch glass with cotton and rubber,
Right. Exactly.
you know.
Yep.
So
And if you're a member of the IWCA, you know you can take those scratch classes there and learn a little bit more knowledge there and get familiar with what's the process on cleaning glass and learn the education behind. That's the number one thing I tell all of the people that ask me, what do you like about the IWCA? That's I when I started going, my very first IWCA was in 2006, 2007 maybe, and that was the one in Mesa, Arizona. The very first. That's where I met, where's this guy's name? The scratch glass guy. I think he passed away too, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I got to remember his name, and I have his book sitting behind my green screen. From
Tim
scratch.
Field,
What's that?
Tim Fields,
No, no, not Tim Fields, because Tim Fields still alive.
you're still alive. Yeah, I was just saying.
No, it was another guy that used to teach the scratch glass class back then. You know, before the IWCA started collaborating with the glass industry, and because now they're working together to try to resolve and see what's going on. You know, what changed from 10 years ago to now. So
Right.
I'm talking about, I can't remember this guy's name, but he was sort of like a lawyer type guy too, where if you ever came into an issue with scratch glass, he'll come
Oh,
out. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. It's not.
It's not gonna pop up, but
It
we'll
is
put
not.
it on the comment section later for those viewers
Yeah.
that are interested, and we'll put it on there. But yeah, that was my number one thing with IWC. You know, you learn a lot, and every year is something new. So when
Well, every year's gotten better for me because my first year I showed up, I was in a red shirt, had fish window cleaning, and everybody was like, "Back, you
well,
devil dog," you know.
what is it about fish? Everybody look at
Well,
him like,
I mean that's what it was. It was just, and then I became friends with Sheila, was my buddy from the start. Sheila
mhm.
Smeltzer, and then Cody out of Red Rock. They kind of just took me under their wing, and Matt Pierce. Uh, he was with Fish at the time. Took me under their wing at the first convention, and after that, I've spoken at, I want to say not all of them, but I'm going to say at least 12 different uh, IWCAs that I'm always asked to speak, and I love to speak. I love to educate.
Right.
But the second year, then I was accepted. The third year, it just got better. And when I got out of the red shirt, it was like hugs everywhere.
Right. So
You'll never see me ever wear a red shirt again. But
speaking
it's fine.
speaking of fish, I had a lead from them. What's her name? They were at your class.
Lisa.
Lisa, yeah. So
Yeah.
they reached out to me the other day. I guess they got into this job where they were not able to access the job just because of the height. Their insurance wouldn't cover them. So they reached out to me, and it's a building here in Anaheim, some sort of college, where it has some very large overhangs, and there were some falcon nests up on the top, and there was no anchor points, no nothing. The ground floor was actually above the parking structure, so they had one floor all around the building. Can't get a 24,000 boom lift up there because God knows if that parking structure can support that weight. So I'm
Right.
sitting here like, okay, we went out, we walked the job, we evaluated for them, and I said, look, if you want me to do this job the right way, you're gonna have to install some sort of anchor points for us, and gonna have to do this legally. You're gonna have to get yourself an opus in play, and once you have that, you can have clean windows as many times as you want per year. You're gonna have to do a one-time expense, but your building's gonna be up to date by Cal OSHA. You don't have to worry about anything, and then the pricing can be a little more competitive after that because you
Right.
have the proper equipment for window cleaners to do this properly. So I got them in contact with the companies that do all that installation services and all that. So hopefully we get a call soon saying, hey, we got our system up. Can you come back? And because, because of that knowledge, we were able to help them. So they'll
Right.
consider us for the window cleaning and say, hey, this is ready for you guys. Come back out. So there it is. That's how you make.
2 weeks ago, I have a gentleman call me up. I need rolling rigs. Okay, well, during the pandemic, it's hard, right? So I call Mio, I call Allie directly and said, hey, Allie, I need two. I need a 2x4 and a 2x8. She goes, oh, that's the only two I have left. I said, okay, this is where I need them shipped to. Boom, ship them out to the guy. The guy calls me up and says, hey, there's no anchors on top of this building. I said, you can't use the rolling rig. He goes, well, what do I do? I said, well, parapet wall. He goes, yeah. Has it been engineered, checked it out to make sure it has the weight? Nope, won't bear 5,000 pounds. I said, you can't use parapet clamp.
No.
I said, you can't even use the roller rigs. He goes, can I return them? I'm like, yeah, let me do that. And it was, almost $9,000 worth of equipment that's got to be returned to me.
Wow.
And he was like grateful, but I'm like, and I talked to him, and because then he ordered a whole bunch of window cleaning equipment. So then I started really talking to him because he called me up, goes, I know what I'm needing. I'm a high rise guy. I'm like, usually when the people order stuff, I make sure they have anchors, 1910, everything's certified, blah, 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 because I feel I owe it to them. Since I'm involved in the safety program with Racenstein, I should be able to educate my customers.
The customers,
And, and I just didn't dig in deep enough with him. I know what I'm doing. I get customers like that. I'm like, okay, we'll ship them out. And then he said, can I return them? And normally I would have said, no,
Yeah.
we don't take safety equipment back.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I
And
called
that's
DO, and they said, yeah, they take them back. So
that makes very good sense. When it comes to safety, and another thing that choosing the right safety harness for the type of job that you're doing, whether you're on a boom lift, a scissor lift, or rappelling off the side of a building, there's different harnesses out there that people need to know which ones they need. Because if not, they end up going to HD Supply and picking up a standard $100 harness there. If they ever come into a fall arrest, they're gonna have some damage in between their legs, and then
they're gonna die.
Or the blood
die.
circulation is gonna stop, and they're gonna die because they don't.
There was a weird thing. There's a falconer. I forget exactly what they call them, but they climb off the cliffs and they check out nests for eagles and stuff in California. So he calls me up. He goes, "This is the gear I want." I'm like, "No, that's not the gear you want. This is really what you need." Nope, this is what the guy told me I needed. I said, "I'm telling you, that's not what you want." He goes, "Send me it to me," and I'm like, "Okay." So send it out to him, and he gets it, and he goes, "Nope, you're right. This harness won't work." I said, "I told you it wouldn't work." He goes, "Well, send me what you think will work." And I said, "This is exactly what you need, and you also need some ascenders." He goes, "No, I just need descenders." I'm like, "No, you don't. You can't position yourself with just a descender.
Yeah.
What happens if you got past the nest, and how are you going to get back up? You going to hand over rope? No, doesn't work. Doesn't work." Yeah. So he sent me some pictures. They're really badass about the nest and stuff and what he's doing. He was so grateful, And we like helping out anybody. We don't really care for returns that much, but we take stuff back.
Yeah, that's why it's always good, especially to all the viewers when it comes to ordering safety equipment and things like that. You can't purchase. You really got to be familiar with the fact that, this is what's going to help you on your job. If you're unsure about it or you don't know about it, ask before you purchase. Because if you purchase it, like Doug says, that this stuff is non-returnable because it's already got into the public's hands. And if for any reason they got tampered with and they bring it back, they become liable for that. So that's something they need to understand.
Yeah, that's the same thing with PPE. We can't take any PPE once it's left our building. We can't take it back.
It makes absolute sense, and I hope that I hope people have common sense when ordering that stuff, and they know that, hey, okay, well, maybe I can't return this stuff, but other small items, window cleaning supplies and things like that, they're okay with that. And another question, we're probably going to have to get your son on an interview too, then get to know the little mindhead behind being a young entrepreneur at 21 years age. And I heard he picked up a very big contract too. So I think before you even share those news, I think we'll have him break that news. But if he's interested, we can set something up and
we'll have him. Well, he's going to go do it on the 24th. He's down there for about a month.
Wow.
What he figured him and his buddy could do it in a month.
In a month?
In a month. Two guys.
That's impressive, man. It's very. That's going to be a very motivational video for everyone in the group because we have a lot of young entrepreneurs that are in their mid to late 20s. I'm almost hitting next May. I'll be hitting 40, but I feel like I'm still 25 years old. Even though the body feels it. I come home like, oh my God, but.
I feel you. I don't look as young as I feel. That's for damn sure.
Well, you look very young, Doug. You got a very young attitude. That's it. You're very cool.
Yeah, I love life, man. I love life, love friends, love people. It's just I'm blessed, I have friends like you out there in the industry that they keep everybody honest.
Yeah,
That's when you know you're in check. When
Yeah.
people trust you, that's when you know you're in check.
You got to be honest,
Life.
man. Always be 100% honest, and don't be afraid to speak up, when it comes to things, and that's where we're at. We picked up some new polls, and then, hey, I need you to review my poll. I said, like, if you want your honest review, I'm going to give you an honest review. I'm not going to trash your poll, but I'm going to be honest about it. I mean, I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to put it up there in the field. I'm going to let my guys try it out, and we're going to see their reactions, live. Obviously, if they curse, then we'll bleep all that stuff out. But we're going to be out there as a team working side by side, keeping things natural and go from there. But, well, I mean, there was a lot that we covered there, and it's always fun, Doug, to have you around and have you as an instructor out there. We know we can rely on you 24/7, whether it's through a video chat here or at a convention or at a safety meeting class or even through Messenger. That's one thing that when you have a question and we can reach out to you and we can depend on you responding right back, that's something to admire. Because not a lot of people will sit there. A lot of people have many messages coming in and they can't reply to them all, but know how to pick the ones that they do need answers.
It's tough. I mean, we've got 4 outstanding people working for Racenstein that can answer just about any question.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that underestimates Jenny doesn't know Jenny very well.
Oh yeah.
The young lady really knows her stuff.
Yeah.
Very proud to be working with her. And then you got John Anuzia, who's just an outstanding, rebuild anything, fix anything you've got, machine-wise and stuff like that, with the knowledge of the pressure washing and window cleaning. So I bet we spent on the day today, on an average day, I'll probably yield, 10 calls with people with issues on how to clean certain items. And we'll just walk them through the process.
Yeah.
Do we have to do that? No.
You see?
But that's what we do.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's very true. And then another thing that window cleaners, small business owners don't realize is that when they don't attend these small classes for informational purposes, they don't get to learn out. So they have to go out and ask and ask and ask. Every single forum, you see the same question over and over and over and over. I'm like, and in Southern California, I hope when is the next event you guys are going to have out here in California? The next training or?
I don't know. We really got to wait for this COVID. Steve's got me locked down. Steve would not let me travel anywhere.
Yeah. No,
I want to go do some stuff because I'm getting because I work out of my house.
Right.
This is my office. So I love getting out there. I love educating. I love talking with people. That's my passion, to give back to the industry that's been so good to me. And he just said, no, you're not going anywhere. We can't afford for you to get sick. It's not fair to anybody.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And you know what? We applaud Steve for doing that and taking that extra measure. And I keep forgetting. There's times that I run out and I forget my mask in my car and I'm running to the stump. Oh crap, I got to go back for my mask. Because, to me, it's like, we're already back on full throttle. We're doing things, even though we're taking the safety measures, but it's like we're back in normal. So I forget sometimes, like, oh crap, I need to go back and grab my mask or certain things like that. But when it comes to,
people underestimate the mask, and I'm telling you, I won't stop wearing them when I go out. I've got diabetes. So if I go out and get COVID, my likelihood of dying is pretty high.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't even go out to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, I refuse, because I know, as Steve and I were talking about the electrostatic and put them in air conditioners, due to the fact that if somebody's standing next to an intake of an air conditioner and they have COVID, it could actually get sucked and blast through the whole restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there going, son of a gun, because I went out for wings and beer. This was a couple months ago,
You're like, never again.
I walk around. We'll go out to we'll go to a farmer's market, right? Get our fresh fruit and our vegetables and stuff, and only 30% of the people have masks on.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't get it. What don't people understand?
Yeah, and the first time I experienced this wasn't too long ago. We me and my wife and my daughter, where were we? I took her, I think, to a dental exam, and it was early in the morning, so it took about 30 minutes. And then on the way back, I said, hey, let's stop by and pick up some pancakes. Well, all right, so we ended up stopping at I think it was Norm's, and they already had the opening where social distancing inside the restaurant. So I call over the phone. I'm in the parking lot. I place my order. Okay, it'll be ready in 15 minutes. All right. So 15 minutes later, I walk into the restaurant. You got all these people staggered around inside the building with no mask on. Here comes this elderly lady, and she's wanting to sit down. She's very elderly. She can barely hold herself up. She's wearing her mask, and the lobby is completely open. There's nobody there. So the lady starts walking over to sit down, and the cashier goes, "Hey, you need to go sit outside. You can't sit in here." I'm sitting there like, you mean to tell me that you got all these people in here with no mask on, eating their food? They're okay, but she can't sit here in the lobby. I mean, she was an elderly lady. Like, okay, I can understand if it was a young person, but it made no sense. And now I went by that same spot yesterday. I went to go pick up some items. Everybody's sitting outdoors now, not indoors.
Well, it's like you go to Costco, mandatory you wear a mask or you don't come in, period.
Yeah.
Why isn't that, no offense, and I know there's people out there that are no mask, I'm an American, by God, it's my right. Well, yeah, it is your right, but don't blame anybody else, and don't go on welfare when you get sick with COVID, collect unemployment if you get it because you could have worn a mask.
Right.
I'm not saying it's the end all, the be all. I'm just saying take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and your family.
Stay safe out there. I don't want to bring it home to my kids or my wife or hell, my dog. I don't want my puppy to get it.
We just had two recent. My brother's wife. She came in contact with COVID-19. She recuperated fast. It took her about a week and a half. But same thing. Ever since this stuff started, business slowed down for us back in March. We started picking up slowly back in mid-May. Doing little, but I was out there by myself, like, hey, or if I needed to help, I'll call one of my guys, give them 16 hours a week. And then till it came to a complete stop where I said, you know what, let's give this a rest. We're going to shut down the doors and then we'll resume, once things start getting back to normal. But my dad got really bad too, in Mexico, and we couldn't do anything. The weight on the shoulders, man, just knowing that, like, hey, something can go south right now so quick. It's unbelievable. And I tell my guys, like, hey, if you make contact with the outside world other than work, you need to let me know, because if you still want a job here, you have to keep yourself healthy at home, and you have to be making sure that you're taking those extra measures, because you can't hang out with everybody else when you get off of work and then show up the next day to work out here, because you could be infected and you don't even know it.
Right.
So,
because I lost a neighbor, my direct neighbor to the right of me, and 2 houses down. I lost a neighbor, both to COVID. So that's when it became really real. And these are people I've known for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
That it's just like, what? Wow. It's
like that.
I never knew anybody that had COVID. Yeah. Honest to God.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm selling all the PPE, and I'm giving my neighbors masks. I'm giving them disinfectant and stuff, and when they came down with it, and my neighbor right next door, I mean, he was an older guy. He was 70 years old, retired, just put in the pool, gone. It's like, dude.
Just a month ago, I think one of the questions circulating out there was, how true is this COVID thing? How many people do you know that are close to you have COVID-19? And that's when I realized, okay, well, yeah, nobody, until, it started getting closer to the people that we know. I'm like, whoa, like, okay, even though I take the extra measures because of my daughter here, but it's just a matter of, hey, I want to stay healthy. I don't even want to experience that. Sooner or later, we're going to get sick, but I don't want to get sick now. This is not going to happen. I want to be closer to when there's a cure out there, or a way that, hey, we can kind of control it. We can help you out. But right now, this is not the time to do that. So
yeah, I'd love to travel, but it's not in my future. It's right? Not in the near future.
You should have Steve get you one of those virtual travelers. Like, hey, that'll be a cool little.
I love meetings like this. We've been doing a lot. We do some with Tori and other companies. Some of our vendors that we've been doing these with. They're like, how about a virtual convention? I'm like, yeah, nobody's going to knock on that door. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's not the same being on a virtual convention, because then if you have so many people in one lobby, how's that going to work out? It's not going to be, I mean, it can be a seminar where it's not a one-on-one interaction. You can just listen to the person.
That's the whole thing. I don't go to conventions to sell equipment, right? Yeah. I go to socialize and talk with my customers. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So what is virtual going to do with me? I can talk to you, I'm getting a
But like, hey,
kick out of
Doug,
this right now.
here's-
I could Zoom with everybody, man. I love this, you know.
yeah,
But it doesn't. It's not who we are anyway. You know,
yeah,
just here. Let me showcase a bunch of equipment. Come by. That's
yeah,
not us.
yeah. No,
You know.
that's true. I agree. And let's hope things get better by
Oh,
January.
absolutely.
Because I'm looking forward to not missing this, or maybe they push it out further out if needed be. But let's hope we get to see each other in Vegas and everything's a little more under control, and we'll hope for the best.
Absolutely. That's all we can do. You know.
But hey, Dougie, I want to thank you for your time. If there's any parting words that you want to give all the Flomies out there in the group, as far as
Guys, stay strong. Listen to your mentors out there. If you have any questions, you have any concerns, you can call me. I'm more than happy to take a call. I'll give you my direct line right now. It's 201-809-7505. You got issues in the field, you have issues with sales, I'll help you. I'll do my best to help you out, and I just want everybody out there to stay safe. Believe it, it's real.
Well, there you go, Flomies. Mr. Doug App, once again. Thank you, sir, for coming on and sharing your time with me. And we're going to go ahead and end this video. And stay tuned. If you have any comments, make sure you drop them down on the comment section below, and we'll answer in the near future.